Hello everyone, welcome back to Eat Sleep Brief. In this week's episode, we're going to be covering a new glue slash cement that I actually came across. So as you guys are aware, or maybe not aware, I'm a big fan of Marco's rocks. So as soon as I found that they had an actual adhesive cement for their rocks, I was all for trying it out. So as you guys know, there's a few common ways to glue rock. You can go with coral glue, which is Ca. You can do the epoxy. Or you can do cement. I wanted something very strong, very structurally sound, just because in the last tank I did, the JBJ45, I didn't have the best of luck with the adhesive I used. And I heard great things about cement. I figured Marco's wouldn't release the product, if it wasn't good. So I went ahead and got their new eMarco 400. Now guys, a very special thing about this cement versus their previous one, this one has a purple tint to it. So for you guys looking for that coralline look, this cement is going to be perfect for you. Once you got the whole package open, you're going to notice it comes with actually quite detailed instructions. You got a full instructions list here, which obviously kind of tells you exactly what you need to be doing to make sure you get the best results. With all that being said, it is going to be a little bit of trial and error. I think always mixing cement, it's a bit of trial and error. They do also provide a spatula. So the spatula you're going to be using to obviously mix everything, get the right consistency, and obviously be able to draw it out so you can mold it, kind of put it on your Aquascape. It does also come in the bucket that it obviously ships in. This could also be used to mix it if you'd like. I'm going to show you guys another tip that I recommend over this a little bit later. But you get the powdered cement itself. You can see kind of it doesn't look as purple as when you add the liquid to it. It's going to turn a little bit more purple, kind of to resemble that coralline algae, that eventually our tanks will mature into. And the last part of everything is going to be the liquid concentrate. So this is what you're going to be mixing in to the powdered cement. Now guys, a little goes a long way with this stuff. You'd be amazed how much of this you're actually going to need. So don't put too much. If anything, go under, and then later you can always add a little bit more. So as far as the instructions, it's very simple, very straightforward. It's literally just putting the powder in a mixing container, then adding some water. But you don't want the consistency too watery. You want it kind of Play-Doh-y. Too watered or too dry, you won't get the right result. But it's kind of hard to explain. You're really going to have it in your hand, and then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You're going to notice the very first step in the instructions is you need to add anywhere from 12 to 16 ounces of water to the little pouch of concentrate they provide to you. So that's very simple. Just kind of grab a little bottle of water, and you'll be able to add water to pretty much fill up the pouch with full liquid water. So as again the manual states, you're going to want to get your pouch here. This is full concentrate, so you're going to have to dilute it with just some water in a bottle is what I use. You can use water from your sink, or as long as it's water, you'll be good to go. The reason I'm doing the bottle is because generally these bottles are anywhere from 12 to 16 ounces. One thing I did to make it a lot easier, I punched a hole on the very top of it with a drill bit. You're going to notice on the pouch it has a very small opening, so I figured if I did a little hole, it's going to be a lot easier to put the water into the pouch so we don't have that much spillage. So it's very straightforward here, guys. All you're going to want to do is take off your cap, get your bottle water ready, pour all the water in there. Once you do pour all the water, be sure to shake it very, very well for about a minute is what I probably recommend, just so everything mixes nice and evenly, and you should be good to go. So these are some tips I recommend. It's not included in the manual, but I recommend some gloves, actually a pair of gloves, because again, you are dealing with cement, unless you don't mind, and also a cup. They do supply a bucket, but guys, I'd rather use the cup, just because if you ever do want to reuse this again down the road, I don't want the bucket full of cement. The disposable cups, they're cheap, they're inexpensive, and all you really got to do is throw it away, and you're good to go. So this is my first time ever using cement to Aquascape. I've used epoxy, I've used quite a few other stuff out on the market, and guys, this stuff is crazy strong. Actually, Marco shared something with me. They told me that once the glue cures, which is in about 24 hours, you'll break the rock before you break the joint. That's how strong it is. That's actually how you want it. I don't know about you, but I want to make sure I can trust whatever I'm putting together. The last thing I want to be worried about is something falling over, shattering my glass, or importantly killing a coral or fish, that would not be good news. So I will say it's very simple to use. Like I said, there is a learning curve when you are mixing this stuff. You want to get the right consistency. Too watery and you're going to notice it kind of falls apart in your hand. Too stiff and you notice it won't really want to adhere to anything. So again, this is going to be a little bit of trial and error on your part. I was able to figure it out on the go. If you notice you mix it either too dry, add a little bit more liquid. You mix it too wet, add a little bit more powder. But you're going to notice when you're getting close to the fine point, you need to add very little liquid or very little powder as you get closer to that point, because it can change quite drastically. But also you're going to want to make sure you work somewhat quickly, not too quickly. You have about 15-20 minutes before the glue sets and becomes unworkable. From that point it takes 24 hours to fully cure, but I found out in my specific setup you're able to kind of work and move the scape around after about 30 minutes. It's literally that hard. Don't put crazy amount of pressure on it, but it is totally workable. So in my specific Aquascape, I don't know if you guys can see, but this is the back side of the Aquascape. So what I was able to do was I try to put as much of this stuff on the rear, so when you're looking at the Aquascape from the front, you don't really see any glue anywhere. It kind of looks like it's all natural and it's all being held together. So this is a tip I recommend. Obviously, if you are doing a crazy overhang, you will have to reinforce it with a lot more cement, and you probably are going to be able to see it. But if it's nothing crazy, not too structural, you should get away with just doing it in the rear. You will notice here there is some ledges that I had to do in the front. Obviously, there's no way to do it in the rear. So what I did, very simple, very straightforward. I actually filled in the putty right on the bottom of the overhang and made it, as you can see, very difficult to see. Let's say if you are doing a structure that you do need to make the glue visible, what I recommend, before the glue dries, have some rubble ready and just be sure to put rubble over the glue joint so you really can't even see the joint when it's all said and done. I mean, if you really wanted, you could leave it alone. Eventually a coral will cover it or coralline algae will grow and you'll really never ever have to see it again. So that's going to be pretty much it for today's video. I think for myself it's safe to say that anytime I do a rockscape from now and pretty much my whole reefing life, I'm always going to go back to cement. I mean, after using it, guys, it's so simple. I think the most big advantage is it's really strong and it sets really quickly and it's literally rock solid. I think Marcos did a great job. If you guys aren't too fond of the coralline color one, they do have one that kind of resembles a rock. It's like a whitish, grayish color, more white than anything. But if you guys do want the coralline, you can go with this model, or if you want just a standard whiter color, you can go with that one there. Obviously, you can check out these products at marcos.com. Again, I'm more than happy with it. I hope you guys were able to watch this video and kind of showed you a new product, a new way to aquascape. More importantly, a way to safely and securely hold your rock from now, and the future. So really thank you guys very much for joining this episode. Let me know down below if you guys have ever used this product. Also, I'd love to hear what you guys are using. So I thank each and every one of you for watching. As always, happy reefing.